and it's just waiting to be applied. So that's what these cards are for. And these cards here are applicable to combat, and you make a mini deck of these cards, and then you can shuffle them, and then you pick out, when you fight, you pick it out, and you see if that applies to that combat. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. If it does, then you apply the effect. So that's how that works. And it's okay. Actually, the card play aspect of the game is probably the weakest part of this solitaire system, because some of these cards don't actually apply, and so you need to throw away, and also some cards need some special interpretation to make them work for solitaire games, and it's not explained very well in the rules, but it works out. And so after a while you weed out the cards that don't really work in solitaire, and you just don't use them when they come up. And because you're missing some of the cards, you're missing some of the theme, but generally it's all there. It's not bad. So that was the cards phase. Now the third phase is the crowns phase. Crown phase, and that's basically means you can buy stuff with your money. Right, so we had. So that's the how much money I've got in the bank. You start off with 50, and you can use that to buy units and stuff. So here is the map situation on turn 5 of this particular game. But just an example, you can see that there are units on there. So you have navies, and then you have infantry. You have navies again here, colonies. These are actually exploration. These black markers are exploration markers. That's a pirate. So under here there's a cavalry, and each ship has a cargo limit, and so you have to bear in mind about that. And so you can use money to buy this stuff, and then you can buy fortresses and citadels, and then you can in the movement they ship them around. So you buy, and the AI player doesn't do this. There are no AI units on the map. The AI units appear randomly during when it's needed. Okay, so that goes on to movement. The next phase is the movement phase. So the movement phase is the crux of the game, where things happen. So let's just start off with the exploration bit. So basically, in the game, you can actually, I left out before that, you can actually buy leaders as well. So basically, in a stack, to do anything like explore or colonize or what have you, the stack must have either a navy or a leader. All right. So navies are for coastal areas, and leaders are for inland areas. So what happens is the ship can move, and they got movement. So a ship can move 10 squares. A leader can move 3 squares in Europe and 1 square elsewhere. So basically, you move. Most of the game actually occurs along the coast of the world, simply because ship movement is so much better than leader movement. But if you are playing with Russia, up here, Russia actually starts off with no ports. So it means if you are playing with Russia, the good news and the bad news is, well, you basically can expand to Asia, but to get shipping going, you need to attack other European countries, which is actually quite difficult to do. And so it's challenging to play Russia, and Turkey has a similar problem. Turkey is it's difficult to play Turkey because their shipping can only go along the Asia-European coast, so they can't actually do anything elsewhere. So actually it's quite hard for Turkey to win, and so these two countries are left out of most games, unless you had 5 to 6 players. But as a solitaire player, sometimes you pick those for the challenge, so that's that. So basically in this movement, so you can move them, and what happens is when you move into an area with, say here, with some islands or a coastal area like this one, all right, when your ship hits an area that's unknown, then your movement stops, and then you pick out one of these chips. These markers. These markers are marked with different things. So that's an empire. All right. Well, it's not focusing very well. Anyway, here we go. Empire. You got gold, and here you got a sugar marker. Right, see how there's a 1 there, and then there's 5s, and it doesn't. It's actually the number that's important. Then, so basically, the number or the gold mines and stuff produce resources, and so some are better than others. So the gold mine you can throw a dice, so it's a random amount, and then you can there's a chit that's 5, and that's pretty powerful. All right, so it means that colony, if you colonize it, can produce 5. So what happens is you discover, you put that marker down. Okay, and you throw a discovery cheat first. Throw a discovery roll first, and that discovery roll can fail, and there's certain modifiers on that one. Then you go and put that exploration marker on. Then you can choose to colonize it. So if you have one of these flag markers, these colony markers, then with your stack, then you can choose to try to colonize it. Colonization can fail. You throw a dice basically, and there's certain dice roll modifiers to make it easier, harder. And if you succeed, then you put a colony. Then that colony becomes yours. And you can fail. And you can lose units and stuff, or natives can attack you. And just like the AI that can attack you during the movement phase, basically you throw a dice and you work out how much army they have, and then they attack you. The other thing that you can do is, and it's a pretty important part of the game, is with your stack during movement, if you land on a previously colonized area, you get the number. Say it was a tobacco colony and gives you free resource, free crowns. You can then carry that crown on your boat, which has limited cargo capacity. So if you are generating a lot of crowns, then you may need to be prepared to bring more boats, more navies with you. Then you can land. I can land here for some crowns. I can land here for some crowns. Then I can make my way all the way to Europe and unload that, and then that gets that crown that I earned in the New World can get transferred into my bank over here. All right, so that's what that's for. Now, an important part of the game, so I set victory points. So colonies are worth victory points, and what else is actually worth victory points is these award markers. All right, so each row here, so this North America, Africa, unknown areas, and these are other general things. So basically, these award markers are worth victory points. So there's a lot of ways to earn victory points in this game. So here's a marker. This is a discovery marker, right? And this one's a colony marker. So in the unknown. So if you in the unknown regions of the world, basically in the Pacific and the Indian Ocean, if you colonize, you're the first to discover something there, you earn this marker. It gives you a +2 bonus on your discovery rolls in that area next go. But it's also worth 10 victory points. And the first to colonize the area gets something. And also there's some really powerful awards. Say you navigate the Northwest Passage. So you find the mythical Northwest Passage through North America. When you find that, then this is worth 25 victory points. So you find maneuvering on the map, you earn victory points, and that really simulates this area really, really well, in my opinion. So there's a lot of ways to earn, and here's some more different things and this is an important part of the game. So I'm going to spend a bit more time here. So this is loot kingdom. So you can loot a kingdom, you can loot a colony, right? You can loot an empire. Here you can circumnavigate the world, all right, and you can navigate the Straits of Magellan, and that can give you more victory points. So actually, the game's quite a lot of fun, and each colony, each area of the map, it can earn you different victory points. So that's a way to win, and then that actually works really well in multiplayer, and really you can develop a lot of different strategies to this game whilst playing. So. Okay, now back to the solitaire rules. So basically, you can move your things, and whose turn it is you by getting it out of the coffee cup. The other players are automated, and so like I said before, you work out who's peaceful. Peaceful ones colonize the various areas of the. So you randomly determine where they colonize and how many places they colonize. So they do that, and then the hostile just attack you. So they'll attack depending on who they're hostile, they can attack each other as well. And so you work out if you can defend your colonies from them, or you work out and resolve them attacking amongst themselves. And actually quite easy to do. So combat in this is really simple. All it is you both sides roll 2 dice, and there's various modifiers depending on how much defenses you have. If your army's bigger than theirs, you get bonuses, and so it's pretty simple. Basically, there's no combat results table as a result. It's just whoever gets a bigger roll, right? So that's pretty easy. Now, so that's that, and then and the second last phase is the collection phase, and that's where you collect taxes in Europe. All right, so each capital city is worth 25 crowns, and if you have a sort of like attacked other areas in Europe, and have a colony there, if you like, a marker there, then you can get another 5 crowns from those areas, and so you can get that, and you can actually try to increase that by. You can make a risky roll. So if you want to increase your tax income, say you got 25, you want to increase it by 25%. 10%, then what you can do is roll a 6-sided dice. If you can roll a number bigger than 1, right, for 10%, then say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then you can get 10%, but you can make a big risky roll. Say you want to go for 30%, then you need to roll a 30% increase in your taxes in Europe that turn. So if you had, say, 25 to begin with, you get 30% more. And to do that, you need to roll a 4, 5, 6. So, there's another choice there. It's not an important choice. I often don't bother because, the base income's usually enough, especially if you're shipping enough stuff back to Europe in between turns anyway. And once the allotted number of turns occur, so you say you're playing a 10-turn game, after 10th turn you play the victory phase, where you count up all the victory points you earned and see who wins. So that's basically how the game works. That was a mouthful, I'll tell you what. I think of the game Viceroys. I really like it. I think within, it's a game of exploration and empires, it says here, and I think it really does achieve that. I really enjoy traveling the world and playing through this game with those countries. It's very thematic, and I think it works. The game's got good narrative, and here's an example. I think there's nothing better than examples. In turn 3 of this game that I'm just playing, the Spanish attacked me in East Africa and really pummeled me there and took over my colony. And what's interesting is that I could have done things to prevent it, and I didn't do it, and so I paid the price. And what happened was, during the diplomacy phase, I could have bribed the Spanish player, knowing that I shared the continent with him, and I knew that he was more likely to be hostile to me. So by bribing them, I can actually affect that dice roll. Right? And I didn't do that, so I paid the price, and he became hostile to me. Now that he's hostile, during the movement phase, I knew that as long as I went first, I could technically move an army into that continent to defend it, knowing that there was a high chance that the Spanish player would attack that colony because I was sharing it with him, and it was his only colony at this stage. But I could have done that, but there was no army there to defend that colony, so I lost, right? But what was even more interesting was the random event. I actually had an army prepared to move into that area, but into that colony in East Africa to defend, but I couldn't move it because of the random event. There was a pretender to my throne, and basically all the infantry and stuff was stuck in Europe. So that random event threw some span in the work, and it wasn't expected, but it was very thematic, and I think that's an excellent example of what this game brings to the table. And I think compared to the many solitaire games that you see nowadays in the market, this one's a real gem, absolute real gem. And with the Columbus expansion, which we'll talk about next time, this actually even becomes better. So Viceroys, go Pirates.